Hello, hello, everybody. How are you doing today? BeckyRaney here. And today I'm going to talk to you about amazing perfumes and how essential oils can be so remarkable in putting together some amazing fun gifts for your friends. And they're going to be healthy for you. So stay tuned. Here we are going to talk about all of the good stuff. And if I could bring my screen on, we'd be in good shape. Here we go. I just spent some time putting this presentation together because I just thought it was so timely. I've been having fun making perfumes, and we got Mother's Day right around the corner. And wouldn't it be fun just to even have, I mean, if you have kids, maybe to come together and make perfumes for grandma and for your aunts and for your girlfriends and different things. And it's just a really fun way to get together. We had a party at my house last week, and we had about 18 women here where we went through and had a lot of fun. So I'm going to go through my presentation here and show you all the different things that you can do. Now, why are we talking about perfumes? There are so many synthetic perfumes. I mean, most of them. I would have to say probably all of them, but don't quote me. Um, Out there in the marketplace are so toxic. And I remember walking into the Bon Marché way back in the day. Remember, you'd walk in and there'd be a lady standing at the front door and she'd squirt you with some perfume. And there was a bottle of perfume that they did. It was in the Seattle Bon Marché, and it was the bottle of Lorraine perfume, and I absolutely loved it. Now, Larry would buy me that perfume every Christmas or for my birthday, and it was kind of the yearly gift that I'd always get. And they did a really good job with this beautiful packaging, and a lot of times the perfume would come like in a box. It was like a hat box or something, and I just loved it. But after a while, I realized how I would use it, my stomach would hurt. Like seriously, I would use it, and the smell would just kind of make my body agitated and more irritable. And so there's really a lot to be said with all the different perfumes that we have out there. And I'm not just talking about the perfumes you put on your body, I'm talking about all the different artificial scents that they put in, the facial lines that you purchase, the shampoos, the cleaners, even like the little air freshener you put in your car. You guys, think about that toxicity that you're breathing in. A lot of these things are all chemical experiments that they do in the lab to train your brain to like it, and it's actually just so toxic. At the work that I go to, at the suicide center, there's a public bathrooms there, and there's this awful bathroom spray. I'm serious. It just makes me so angry that bathroom spray is used, and it's just so it makes my head hurt. And people wonder, well, it was approved by FDA. Why can't you use it? Yeah, I know, a good question, right? And even these air wall, the wall plugins that you have that are like I don't know what the different brand names are, but that stuff is horrible. Think about what it's misting in your air. And yeah, maybe it makes the air smell really nice. It gets rid of the animal smell or, whatever, but it's not. And I even wonder when I watch the commercials on TV, these new little things that they came up with, these little beadlets you put in your dryer or your washer. I'm not even sure. And they say your smell and your clothes will last 6 weeks. Like, are you kidding me? Like, what? What are we doing to our bodies? Seriously. And so I have this thing that I Googled. I love following Dr. Axe. He's really great when it comes to um, putting it straight. Like, there's so much that we can't say out there in the marketplace because the FDA regulations and all of these things. But Dr. Axe, like, he is just like, I don't know if he has some approval that he can say some of the things that we can't say. But so I always like to quote him, how fake fragrances impact the body. And this is horrible. I believe that women leave the home. By the time we leave the home in the morning, we probably put over 200 different chemicals on our body, from the makeup to the clothes we wear to the perfumes to the shampoos, the all the different fingernail polish, all these things that we put on our body. And what are these synthetic scents doing to us? Number one, cancer. Now that's obvious, like the body's going, it's having an inflammatory response, and cancer actually is where the cells just don't know how to die off, right? and they just massively reproduce, and the body's immune system becomes so taxed that it can't fight that. And so when we are using these synthetic scents, it's attacking our immune system. It's our immune system's constantly fighting and warding off the threat, right? And so it just gets worn out after a while. Another interesting thing, I didn't realize this, but it makes complete sense, birth defects. Um, have you heard of the book called Pottinger Cats? And Pottinger Cats talks about, he's a study, I believe he did it, this professor did it back in 1930s or something. You can Google it, Pottinger. And he talks about raising cats because they have a quick life cycle where they can have babies pretty quickly and it's easy to study. And he did a population of cats, feeding them natural foods like fresh raw meats and vegetables. And then the other cats, he fed them the processed foods. Now think about this as us as humans. The things that he studied is he found that over just even one population, so one birth cycle and then another birth cycle of the cats, that they were actually having tumors. And to think about your animals today, how much, I mean, really, we have cats that have diabetes and we're constantly giving them. I mean, what is it that we're doing to our animals? We're doing to ourselves. He also found in that study from eating these foods and having all these birth defects and not even being able to have birth kittens anymore. But when you go back and start feeding them natural foods, that your body can regenerate itself and refresh itself. So that is the same thing I want to reference to you about these fragrances, is that they really can impact the body, but we can go through and regenerate our body the best that we can. Now, not in all circumstances, but if we can actually start before anything happens by changing to a natural lifestyle, it's very important. So birth defects is something that came up with, and sorry to go down that path on that, but I felt that it was really important to tell you that this has been around for a long time, these studies. And so why do we keep doing the damage to our body? And then we keep asking ourselves, well, why did so and so get cancer? I mean, they've always ate healthy or da da da. Well, they're probably putting on these perfumes, these deodorants, these different things that actually have these smells that are actually creating the toxicity. Um, so the Children's Environmental Health Center demonstrated that fetal exposure to phthalates, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, is linked to autism, symptoms ADHD, and neurological disorders. Now, I'm working at the Suicide Prevention Center with Touchstone Counseling as a counselor now with my Essential Emotions Coach training. There's a lot of ADHD and a lot of different interesting things going on with these younger kids. And oh my gosh, let's stop and think about this, you guys, that if we can go through and actually limit all the toxins that we have in our environment as much as we can, we're not going to be able to get rid of all of them, but it even affects so many generations around us. Allergic and toxic bodily reactions. So a lot of people, like including myself, very much allergic to lots of different foods. We've talked about that, and the sensitivity that people have to smells, and it's just part of the body shutting down with these inflammatory responses. Um, so I can, be in the mall and walk into the Bed Bath and Beyond. And I used to love the smell, but now that I've been living a more natural lifestyle, if I walk in there today, it's like, oh my gosh, the smell just gives me a headache. And you could just tell this, you could smell the toxicity actually. And I have like different essential oils, like this one here is a peppermint essential oil that was given to us at the center. And when you open up this bottle and compare it to other essential oils, it's incredible the difference that these are. The problem is this label says 100% pure therapeutic grade. And then it says made in China. Well, let's listen to that, you guys. And it also says keep out of reach of children, do not use for internal use, and avoid undiluted application, harmful if swallowed. Why would you put something on your body if you can't swallow it? Like, seriously, if you think about that for a second. Um, Oranges, fruit, uh, spearmint, peppermint, we eat these things, right? So essential oils work if they're 100% pure and going to be really healthy for our body. And I'll go into that in just a little bit. So, anyhow, very bad for our body. Here's a screenshot opportunity right here, you guys. You can actually find this on Dr. Axe, but this is again what the fragrance chemicals do to our body. I mean, we can go from all the different things that you find inside of perfumes. For example, formaldehyde. Oh my gosh, that makes you not rot when you're, buried. So, what are we doing putting formaldehyde on our bodies? That's not going to be longevity, that's for sure. Um, so if you sit there and look at all these different chemicals, I can't pronounce most of them. And again, that's uh, really interesting when you look at the numbers where they're known to actually have different side effects. And I actually believe the thyroid and the hormones actually have many more numbers on it. The thyroid, a lot of people are dealing with thyroid disease, right? And so something to take a look at there. Now, here's what I wanted to talk about when you're working with natural, 100% organic, over tested over 60, 70, even sometimes 120 different kinds of tests to ensure the purity of the oil. doTERRA will reject it if there's any question, any doubt. And they're so um, transparent when it comes to the testing that they do on their oils. You can actually go to the website sourcetoyou.com and actually look at the code on the bottom of the bottle and type it in, and it will actually give you the research and the testing on that particular bottle. And the reason why purity is so important is that essential oils are so fine and so pure that they can actually penetrate the cell wall. And that's really important to understand, is that's where the impurities can be, like the virus or the bacteria. We also have our DNA structure inside the cell. And no pharmaceutical medications, really, they're working on it. Maybe there might be one or two, but I don't know 100% for sure. But no pharmaceuticals can actually penetrate the cell wall. And so if the essential oils can, then they can go to work on our body's behalf, making and supporting the body systems. Okay. So this is a picture of a peppermint plant, and on the back side of the peppermint leaf is the essential oil sac. And you can rub the leaf on your fingers, and it actually will burst open that oil. And the oils are actually protecting the leaf from the environmental harm, from bugs, invaders, viruses, funguses, all those things like that. So we are using these health benefits, or the benefits that the oils can do to help support our body and our wellness. It's impactful. So when we go back and compare it to using perfumes that have all the chemical experiments, are all chemically made, which could be harmful to our body, causing and being a reason for inflammation, using essential oils for your perfumes instead are actually going to be benefiting our body. And so, okay, you got the point, right? So now we're going to go through and talk about, well, how do you make these perfumes? And I remember hearing about one essential oil called vetiver. And vetiver is sourced out of Haiti, and it's prized oil for the perfume industry. And I'm like, really? It's made from a root of a grass and it smells like dirt. Like, how could that be perfume? Well, here's the reason. When you like use an essential oil like wild orange or lemon, it flashes off very quickly because it's very light and volatile. When you're using a heavier oil like vetiver, it's almost like a syrup. It's almost not as thick as honey. Myrrh essential oil is really thick like honey, but these oils then are known as a base root oil, so that way it actually will last longer and last with your body for a long period of time. So then you want also a middle note, which is the same thing, where if you have a nice mixture, then that perfume that you're making is going to last with you over a long period of time and work with your body chemistry. So I'll go through it in a different reference. Um, so we were talking about the root note, or the base note can actually last about 6 hours. It's very strong, earthy, usually grounding type smells like the tree oils, cedar wood, arbor vitae. Those would be considered as a root note or a base note. The heart note, or the middle note, is also something that lasts a little bit longer. It's going to be grounding as well, very gentle. A lot of times, these floral scents are what's based here. Sometimes some of the floral oils can be very heavy as well. Crowned note is the high note or the flash off note, and that's only going to last 5 to 15 minutes. It's going to be very happy, very bright, very citrusy, a lot of the citrus oils, very quick to smell. And so, what you're going to do is you're going to find each one of these and mix them together and figure out what perfume you're going to make. Okay. And so, I'm going to do a little deeper dive in this. This might be a good screenshot if you wanted to take one. Is you want to always start out with the root note because it's the foundation of the fragrance, right? It's going to last the longest. It's going to give you that deep, strong base, right? So some of these oils, again, like I mentioned, myrrh, sandalwood, vetiver, ylang ylang is a flower, patchouli, frankincense is the sap of a tree, and cedarwood. So very interesting, right? Then again, the heart note is going to be the core. It's the heart. It's going to take care of your personal who you are, right? It's going to be giving you your personal aroma. I think I like to, it comes from the heart, I guess is the best way I can describe it. And some of these wonderful notes would be like lavender, jasmine, neroli. These are all flowers. Cinnamon is the bark of a tree. So that's kind of going to add a little more spice. It's the lighter uh, part of that. Peppermint, eucalyptus is also you can see some overlap with that being part of a tree, um, and so on. So then you're going to finish it off with a crown note. And the crown note are the lightest, most noticeable aroma again. And you're going to look at some of those as your quick scent. And if you are really good at, you get good at this, then you're going to mix that with the right fragrance with the flower. And then the flower is going to mix with the base note, right? So it's going to have this really wonderful, it's kind of like a wine where when you first put the wine in your mouth and you swish it around as more aerating and more make sure that that gets in, you're going to have a different flavor, right? So that's kind of what's going on here. Again, take a screenshot of this. This is a really good information regarding the top notes, middle notes, and base notes, some of the oils you can use. And a lot of people go, well, where do I get started? How do I do this? Well, I want to dive into a little bit more about the health benefit and the emotional benefit. We often don't talk much about the emotional benefit. And this is what's going to be really powerful about making your own perfumes because you can actually be your own chemist and come up with maybe you're dealing with hormonal issues, maybe anxiety, maybe there's these other things that you want to focus on. And so it's some things that you can go through and work on. Now, as you're going through and mixing up these different types of things, I want to go back to this screenshot for a second. Um, we were talking about perfumes and different things that are made with scent, right? Like the laundry soap, the cleaners that we're using, even potpourri. Like you can go through and use different delivery systems to make your wellness. So in our cleaning supply, we actually have a spray bottle where we use On Guard and lemon, and we just make the house smell amazing when we clean it. And so that is just something else to keep in mind. We're not just talking about your personal scent, right? But even these passive diffusers or potpourri that you put in the house, you can put perfumes on these as well. Okay, so roller bottles, you want to use, with the mixture of the different oils you're gonna pick, you want to use, like, fractionated coconut oil. We love the doTERRA fractionated coconut oil because it's, very light, and it actually when you put the perfume on in a roller bottle, it will actually, keep it from flashing off, right? It's gonna help it stay on your skin and absorb into the skin. So you want to use an an oil. Now you can use like coconut oil, olive oil or hazelnut oil. All these other different oils do come with their own scent sometimes, and you want to be sure that they're pure. They tend to be heavier on the skin and not absorb. And so, what's really great about fractionated coconut oil, it is just a perfect way to be mixing your rollers. Now, I'm talking about the specific for rollers. Keep in mind Use a metal roller top, not a plastic, because some of the citrus oils will eat away at the plastic and this ball will pop off. What I really like about making my own rollers too is you can make your own labels and make some really pretty looking things. I love to use Canva for that. Another nice way to customize your own scent. And then making sprays, you want to go through and think about this in a different manner. Sprays, oil, you don't want to spray oil on your clothes. So like spraying like the coconut oil, it just doesn't work. It's a little bit too heavy to go through this spray. Not now I'm not saying all spray bottles it's going to be too heavy for, but like in this really pretty kind, that's a very fine mist when it comes out of the spray. And so you want to keep that in mind when you are buying spray bottles that they are designed for perfume because that fine mist is what you're going for. I've had purchased other spray bottles in the past and they're like, spraying down the kitchen sink, or something. They're very, very big and bold. So make it a nice mister spray. And there's a thing called perfumer's alcohol. Now, I haven't done too much research in this, but we were having a class again on Sunday and we were talking about using vodka as one of the um, carrier products that are inside the mixture that you're doing because you're not going to mix this all with essential oils. You're going to have like maybe a total of 15 drops of your mixture, and then you're going to fill it with maybe some of the perfumer's alcohol. You can also just fill it with water. Now, water is natural, it's like our bodies, but be sure to use water that's been boiled or distilled or has the right pH balance in it. Just use it from the sink. It may have other impurities in there again, and so just be careful with that. And another product that we like to use is maybe put a tablespoon of witch hazel. And witch hazel's like, really? I was wondering why. Well, when you're using that spray, remember we talk about a lot of the citrus oils tend to flash off. And using like the perfumer's alcohol or the unscented facial toner of witch hazel is actually going to gather that essential oil and put it on your skin. It's going to keep it from diffusing in the air and disappearing. And we want it on your body, right? And so going through and finding what you like best. So I went on Google and I researched perfumers alcohol. There's some really good articles about different kinds of chemical compounds within the different alcohols and all this really amazing stuff that I thought would be really great to share. But then again, we want to keep this class short and you can do the research yourself. So if you decide you really want to get into perfumes, it's something to be noteworthy. Okay, so blending basics again, you're going to pick 3 oils, one from the top, one from the middle, and one from the base. And I like to take the 3 oils and put them together like this. Okay. And I take the lids off and I like to smell them like this before I do my mixture. Sometimes this oil, for example, may be too strong. So maybe go like this and then like that. And you're going to go, okay, I'm going to do less drops of this one and a little more of this one. Okay. And so that is another way you can put together your perfumes. If you're going to add it to a roller bottle, again, we can go back to this slide here and consider using the fractionated coconut oil that doTERRA has. And you're looking at this recipe as like 5 drops, 8 drops, 3 drops. So it's 16 drops total. And so when you're putting just, oops, when you're putting just 16 drops in here, it only fills up to about this. So you're going to want to fill the rest of it up to just the shoulder of the bottle. You don't want to fill it all the way to the top like this because when you put the roller in, it will actually spill. I mean, it's not a good idea. So don't fill it all the way. Just fill it to about right here to the shoulder. And then when you pop that in, it won't overflow. The same kind of thing here. You want to just make sure that the air is actually getting into the bottle and we'll give it a nice spritzer, okay? All right, so, and this always goes the wrong direction when you click on it. Okay, so what oils to use? Oh my gosh, if you Google essential oil recipes doTERRA, you'll find tons of different recipes on like Pinterest or on different people's websites and stuff like that. We also have a lot of different handouts that we like to talk about for emotional benefits and stuff like that. And so I always like to talk to people about you. Like what is your health concerns? What are your emotions? Like what are you dealing with in your emotion aspect. So we always like to kind of consider that because you're going to reach for those weird oils like fennel or cypress or something that you wouldn't normally use. And when you're putting this perfume on, you're going, oh my gosh, it's actually helping you with your health and your emotional benefits, right? Now, I love this chart. I had to throw this in here because this one always kind of helps me take a look at what I'm feeling or what kind of perfume smell that I love. And I love to add spearmint to a lot of it because it's so uplifting. And I like the citrus too, but for some reason, the citrus tends to feel, it's not sticky, but it just seems to be, in my opinion, the mint is more uplifting for me. So you may be the other way. You may like the citrus. So when you look at this chart, we're looking at this circle, and uplifting is going to be on the top of the chart. You think about the mint as uplifting. Citruses are up in the tree, and so they're going to be closer to the sun. So they're more of a happy oil. And when you're looking at the base notes, they're going to be like in the tree family or the herbs and grass family. And when you look at the emotional benefits of these, tree oils are really supportive for grieving. They're really supportive for feeling sad or feeling ashamed. So this is a really wonderful oil when you're dealing with maybe your mom lost, like my mom, when my dad passed away. If I would have known about the essential oils back then, this would have been amazing perfume to give her to be able to help her, support her through the grieving process, right? And so you're also looking at the florals, which are like a big hug. When you look at a flower, it's really tight and the petals are all wrapped around each other, right? And then it opens up when the sun comes out. So it's giving you a tight hug and protecting you and then opening your heart up to receive. And so this is really a wonderful why women in general, mothers tend to be more focused on flowers for Mother's Day and stuff like that because that is the hug, that is the message of comforting and caring for someone. Spices are going to spice things up just like that is cinnamon, clove, all those spices are going to keep you from sitting on the couch and get you up and moving. So if you're feeling disinterested or bored or something, then you're going to want to add some spices to it. So doTERRA has tons of different oils, right? So the other thing, when we were talking about the cell function earlier on, that the essential oils can pass through the cell wall. Well, essential oils actually also are on the cell receptor sites. And so we have around each cell these receptors that actually communicate from one cell to the next. When you're using these essential oils, we're all made of energy. We all are made of energy. And essential oils is made of energy too. So if our body is feeling lack in maybe happiness or emotional upset, when you're using these essential oils, you're actually supplying the depleted energy in your body. And so you want to go through and also consider the emotional aspect of it. We want to help promote physical and emotional detox, right? And being able to empower with some positivity around that. What I mean by that is our body actually is very complex. We have over 40 million trillion molecules inside our body. And when you're using an essential oil, it's going to support that, right? We have three brains in our body. And so different parts of our body are going to be supported in different ways. When you have your mind, the mind is the director. We think it's controlling and directing all the thoughts that our body needs to do. Like you tell your mind, and your mind, you say, move my arm. Your arm moves, right? Now, the heart is a discerner. You feel your heart ache when you're sad, or you feel happy and it's jumping with joy. You feel this in your heart. So, when I would like you to consider that inside our body, we have many things going on. And your oils, the high note, the mid note, the grounding note, can be used to serve different aspects of what's going on in the emotion. I saved the gut for last because the gut is the gateway to our body, right? The gut is the processor. You know, you hear people say, go with your gut feeling. And a lot of people, when they're dealing with health issues, let's take a look at the gut and see what's going on. So I'm going to guarantee you, no, I shouldn't say it's a pretty strong word, but when you have a health issue, go back and look at your gut and see what you're doing, see what you're eating, see what you're abusing your body with, all those things like that. Sugar, oh my gosh. And but, we can also help our body in supporting itself with using the right oils that can support different areas of the body. Isn't that cool? I just absolutely love, love, love this. So, when we research a little further, recognizing the emotional root to your physical ailment. So some people who maybe have like a bad back or a support or a bad ankle, consider that there's an emotional root to that. So if you have middle back pain, it could be that you're being stubborn, right? And so guess what? We can use specific essential oils to support both the emotional root and the back. And so this is just really incredible. We have a whole app that you can go through and look at all the different physical responses that you could be dealing with, what the emotion is tied up with it, and then what oils you can use for both, and even the desired results that we're hoping for and looking at on here. So this is just a sampling of that, and I just think it's just so powerful. It's just really great. Now, this is a picture of what the app looks like inside. So if I were to look at Lang Lang, for example, is the oil of the inner child. Lang Lang is a powerful remedy for the heart. It reconnects individuals with inner child and the pure, simple ways of the heart. It encourages play, restores a childlike nature and innocence. Lang Lang is also a powerful remedy for releasing emotional trauma from the past. It's fantastic and support the age regression work and other methods of emotional healing. And so this is really a good oil for the heart. And so if you're having, my mom has heart palpitations, and so she loves Lang Lang. And so I'm thinking maybe I could do an oil blend for her that would include Lang Lang in it. Now, the brain adaptive has amazing emotional support for being formulated to assist with anxious states. So if you're having someone who's very anxious all the time, has anxiety or whatever, it imparts reassurance and calm when one is caught in cycles of constriction, tension, worry, solitude, and uneasiness. When individuals have experienced prolonged stress or traumatic experiences, the mind body responds by becoming hyper vigilant in order to protect them from future harm. um, so this state is antithetical to well-being and positive functioning. Adaptive helps adapt to stressors, fears, in more clear, constructive, and confident ways. So really, you guys, these oils are so deep, they're so impactful, and to be able to create a beautiful perfume and supporting in that way is so incredible. So the app again is Essential Emotions, and that may be one that you might want to download. Depending on how detailed you want to get into this. I mean, this app I use for everything, not just for making perfumes. Now, here are some fun little recipes I found just simply by Googling. And again, take the bottles of the oils, open them up, and just smell them together. And if you maybe have like this one here, I think is way too strong for 15 drops of jasmine. Jasmine is like $5 a drop, right? So maybe I would pull that one back a little bit, and you can adjust it to what you like, but you can tell by smelling the bottles together what's going to be beneficial for you. This is just giving you an idea of what other people have done. Keep in mind, some of these recipes may not be from doTERRA. They may be from an XYZ brand that they're using a lot more drops here. But I wanted to point that out to you because, again, as you're building the notes and things like that, it's going to depend on what you think and what you feel as far as what, like, I love the smell of different oils, and Larry can't, it's just not his favorite, right? So keep that in mind. Okay. So now as we go through and we look at men's colognes, you can do the same thing. Here's some recipes that I had gathered for men's colognes. So maybe do a screenshot of that because Father's Day is coming up too, right? So it'll be fun to kind of make some up for dad. So I hope this video was helpful for you. If you don't have an essential oil account, reach out to me. I'd be happy to get you started. Or you can take a picture of this QR code. It'll get you right to my site and have you take advantage of a free diffuser and different benefits. Now, if you would like to know more information on that, please reach out to me. I have my contact information below. Or please do reach out to the person who is sharing this video with you and be sure to have them help you maybe find some of the emotional benefits that you want to work on and or health and wellness concerns as well. So thank you so much, everybody. I'm so glad to have spent the morning with you. And I don't know what time you're watching this video, but have fun. Have a bunch of girlfriends together, make some perfumes. I bought some beautiful bottles off of Amazon. There's so many wonderful selections out there, and just play. Be creative. Thanks so much, everybody. Happy Mother's Day.